Today I'm going to share another recipe that I make during the holidays. It's one that Granny made when I was a girl and I just love. It's just got a great taste to it if you have a sweet tooth like I do, and if you like maple, it tastes like maple. So it's Seaside candy roll. It has maple in it. So I'm going to go over the recipe with you, but first I was going to show you, this is just a little index cards. There's no telling how old this is, but it's all Granny's recipes, and it's not all of her recipes, but at one times where she had a lot of them written down. And she gave it to me after I got married, and at some point, I don't really remember it, but she had a little stamp, because I can see a stamp right there. If I put it up, maybe you can see it. It says, this recipe from the kitchen of Evelyn Luzine Wilson. So that's neat. She must have had a stamp at some time. I don't really remember it, and I don't see that stamp anywhere else in here. But it's got lots of different recipes that I remember from childhood. And then sometimes, when I was first married, let's see if I can find one, I've called Granny and asked her how to make something, and then you can see my handwriting where I wrote it. I just put it with Granny's recipe, so that was the really easy, quick cheesecake. I've got a video about that one. Granny's hot chocolate. There's some that I've got stuck in there that fell out. Those are different ones. But anyway, lots of interesting ones. Granny's sugar cookie recipes in here that I make every Christmas too. I have a video on that one I will link to. Just various different things from meatloaf to like the candy that I'm going to make today. So one of my real treasures for sure. So to make Seaside candy roll, we need 1 cup of pecans, 1/3 cup of margarine is what Granny's got down. I've always used butter, so I just use butter. 1/3 cup Cairo light corn syrup, 1 teaspoon maple flavoring, and 1/2 teaspoon of salt. So it's a very simple recipe, simple ingredients, and you don't have to cook it. It's one of those candy recipes that use powdered sugar that you refrigerate after you mix it all up together good. And the powdered sugar, I didn't mention that part, was 1 pound of powdered sugar. So if you can find a box of powdered sugar, they come in a pound, so you already have it already figured out for you. But you can also measure out a pound too. Granny's got in parentheses here 4 1/2 cups sifted. If it's already, you got to sift it first, I guess, because you want it to really combine easily. And I sifted mine, but I just used the 1 pound box. So the directions actually say you start with whole pecans. You have a cup of whole pecans, and you take half of them and you chop them up really finely, and then you take a half of them and you chop them up coarsely. Over the years, I probably did that when I was first married. I probably did it exactly like that, but over the years, I just used chopped pecans. So they're all chopped the same. Neither one one's not coarse and one's not fine. They're just all exactly the same, and it works out okay like that. So you can skip that part if you want to. Then we're going to go over to the mixer, and we're going to mix together the butter, the corn syrup, maple flavoring, and salt. And then once that's mixed up good, we're going to add our powdered sugar. And then you have to mix it, but then you do have to get your hands in there and actually knead it. And as you're kneading it, then that's when you're going to put the nuts in and knead them in as you go. Once you've got it all kneaded together and really, where you can tell, it'll come into like a dough, like a firm dough. Then you can divide it and shape it into long rolls. And I think Granny says, let's see what she says, shape mixture into 2 rolls, 2 inches thick. I don't usually ever measure mine. I just go for whatever. And there's times that I've made them into 3 rolls and just made them smaller, because it is a really rich candy. So if you just have a little small bite, that's plenty. So once you have them into the rolls, then you have that. Then the recipe says to take some additional corn syrup and brush it on the outside and then roll them in those remaining nuts. So I'm going to do that today, but lots of times I skip that part because it's really messy. It's really messy to do that part. So a lot of times I just kind of press the nuts down on the outside, and it works pretty good. But today I'm going to do it like the original recipe, and I'm sure that's how I did it in the beginning. And then once you do that, you wrap them in wax paper, plastic wrap, whatever you want to, and put them in the refrigerator until they're firm. And then once they're firmed up, you just slice them in whatever little bite-sized pieces you want. And it's a really pretty dessert once it's completed, when you put them out on like a plate or something, and you can see the nuts and the little brown candy. It's pretty, and it has a great fragrance. Like my kitchen already smells really great because of that maple extract, putting that maple flavoring in it. It really makes it taste good. So now we're going to go over to the mixer and I'm going to show you how to put it all together. So I have my butter in there. Now I'm going to add my corn syrup. And I know lots of people have an aversion to corn syrup and they don't like to use it, and that's totally okay. I totally think everybody should do what feels good to them and what they believe is best for them. I'm not sure if there's an alternative that you could use or not, but you might be able to use, what's it called, agave? I think that's something that you could probably replace it with if you think that'd be better for you. So here's my maple flavoring. Go ahead and put that in the dishwater, and my salt. So we're going to mix that together. Okay, we've got that mixed up good. We're going to add some of our, start adding our powdered sugar. I'm trying to get a little piece of butter that was hung there. Okay. I'm going to add the rest of it. Try not to spill it all out on the counter like I usually do. Okay, now comes the time to knead it. So it's already together pretty good, so I'm going to get my nuts and start adding them in. And if you need to, you could put down a little extra powdered sugar on your mat as you need to keep it all together if it sticks on you. So once you've got all the nuts in it, kind of kneaded in, then you can divide it into half. Make it a little bit easier to work with. And this is where you're going to roll it into your logs. And again, just think about what size diameter of candy that you would want. I think Granny said 2 inches. Or is that what it? I'll have to look back at the recipe. And I will link to the recipe too so that you can go see it on my blog. So I'm going to go for about like that. And then we're going to do this one. So if you wanted to stop at this step right here, it would still be really good. It would just be great. Or if you wanted to just lay down some, because you can see the nuts will stick inside it, if you wanted to do that and not do this sticky part that I'm about to do, which is usually what I do. But since I'm showing you Granny's recipe, I wanted to show the whole thing the way she would have made it. Whoops, throwing my nuts. Actually, we could do one of each. We could compare. Do one like Granny and one not so messy the way I usually do it. Now I'm getting sticky, it's sticking to me. Okay, I'm going to add some more to that one, but first let's try the way that I usually do it. But first I'm going to have to wash my hands because my hands are so sticky. That's why I don't like to do that part. But it does work. Okay, now I've probably got sticky stuff all over my mat here. But this is how, and I could have done this with that too and just rolled them over it, but it gets so sticky. So, it does stick better with the other stuff. But once you cut them into little rounds, you don't really notice as much what's on the outside. Okay, I'm going to have to admit Granny's is probably prettier, but not as sticky. This one's not as sticky. So now I'm going to get me some wax paper and roll them up and put them in the refrigerator to where they can firm up, and then we will cut them and see what they taste like, which I already know they're going to be great. Corey, you can hear the screech of the door. Corey's getting me some, she's hearing what I'm saying, so she's getting me some wax paper. I already know they're going to be good. This was one of my favorite things that Granny made, just because it's, I guess because it is tasty, especially if you like maple and pecans, but also because it's, just because it's, you know, she only did it at Christmas. So it becomes one of those special things. Someone left a comment and said, yeah, that they had several recipes that they only made at Christmas too. And, you know, you think about it and you think, well, why when you like them so much? But then they said maybe that would make them less special if you just made them all through the year. And, you know, maybe they're right. So these things like the Seaside candy roll or the cracker candy that I shared in the last video that we only make once a year makes them very special. Corey, hand me that cutting board there. So we don't get our wax paper dirty. You cut me off a piece. Wonderful to have Corey helping me in the kitchen. Here's my little sous chef. Okay, so we'll put Granny's in this one. I'm calling it Granny's, but it is prettier, I have to admit. It's prettier. I'll put that one in the fridge. But they'll both be equally tasty. Put this one, and then we'll show you when we get them out.
You can just hand that to me.
You take it.
I will take the roll. Don't worry about what I do with it.
Yeah. Okay, so it's been chilling in the refrigerator for about an hour, maybe an hour and a half. And you can see it just looks so pretty all on a plate like this where you could set it out for your guest or for your family. Looks really nice. I saved the end piece. That's the little piece that I'm going to eat. This is the one that I did Granny's way. So we'll see. Of course, they both taste the same. Very sweet, very rich. You wouldn't need but half of a piece unless you had a real sweet tooth like me and you'd want to keep eating it. But very sweet and very rich. Very, to me, reminiscent of course, Christmases when I was a child and Granny. Very mapley flavored. So if you like maple and you like pecans, those kind of flavors. That maple flavoring also, even though we used powdered sugar, kind of gives it a brown sugar taste. So it's kind of in those notes, those flavors of like pecans, brown sugar, maple, all those kind of things. Really, really good. And really easy. A really easy dessert, which I think of it as a Christmas candy. Really easy one to whip up. And since you put it in the refrigerator to chill, you could make it even a week ahead and put it in there and have it ready. So if you were going to a holiday party or having Christmas at your house or whatever, or just wanted something special, another thing you can do is just put it in there. And if you're a sweet tooth like me, just get you a little piece off every once in a while and don't even bother cutting it all up. Just kind of leave it in the whole roll. But it's a really easy dessert. And it's a really old-fashioned candy. There's a lot of these kind of candies that are flavored like this. There's a mint that Granny used to make too that's mostly powdered sugar and you mix the other stuff with it and there's no cooking involved. So there's I don't know if they call that cream candy maybe. That's in that vein of cream candy. Tons of recipes out there. But this is one that I definitely grew up with here in the mountains of Appalachia. I'll be interested to know if any of you make Seaside candy roll. It doesn't really sound like it goes with the mountains, Seaside candy roll, but the flavors definitely do. So I hope you enjoyed seeing how to make it. And I hope, as always, you'll continue to drop back by and help me celebrate Appalachia. I've been doing this little series of Christmas, kind of the things I make at Christmas, between Thanksgiving and Christmas. And I'll be sure to link to that playlist in the description below so you can check out all those goodies.
You creepy freak!
Didn't even sound like Siri. Who was that?
It was Siri, but I don't know.
Voice is different.
Sounded, I don't know.
So I'm just going to talk and then I'm going to have to go over there and work and then over here and come back. I know that table's going to like shake. There's nothing to do about it unless I do it over there. We could. We're just going to be using
Would
our
I be
hands.
Would I be in the frame like if I tried to hold it still over you like that?
There. And I wondered if you wanted to do a would a short like this work, or like if you just went and show, so that way you won't, before we start, like you show corn syrup, salt.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yep.
And then kind of show me kneading, because there'll be a bunch of that, so we can, cut a little bit
I'll
out
just
while
basically
you're doing it.
film all of it as we
And then
go. And
once
then I'll
I'm
have-
rolling it, you can do a little, and then we'll show the finished product for a minute, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
All right. Good thinking.
All right. Let's see. You can go ahead and do that part.
Okay. Let me get where I can move. And I don't think there's no way I'll stay on them that long, but
No, but that's good because then you can
Yeah.
adjust it to what you want.
Yeah, I've got it no matter
Okay,
what.
push the thing out, I guess, so I can see myself.
Get this thing shut. I want to know if these things go on sale for Black Friday.
Well, they probably will somewhere.
They're like $400 almost.
I've seen them. You gotta see, what is this one, Max Watts? I wonder what size this is.
Maybe a 2 quart or something.
Yeah, I would think that's 2 quarts because it's the size of that glass thing. So 2 quarts would be. I bet you can find one on sale for.
No,
We
I've
should
already
put
told
that
her a
on
bunch
the
of
list.
stuff. I should have, but now it's too late.
Okay, let's see. I think I'm ready.
If you're not good, you're gonna have to eat this whole stick
I
of
don't
butter.
think I could. I think it'd be too much. It's just neat. This is Granny's. This recipe from the kitchen of Evelyn Luzine Wilson. She had a little stamp.
That is precious. Wow.
I don't know where she got this one. It don't say. Okay,
Buddy.
buddy.
You're gonna have to eat all this.
Okay.
Sorry, Mom. I'm just
That's
messing
alright.
with you. I'm just trying to get in here and throw you off.
All right. Well, you're doing a good job.
I'm just
Okay.
messing. Just kidding.
All right. Let's see. Are we ready?